I'm Melissa Beasley, and I'm going to talk a little today about what I'm going to take away from the CAPS analysis, principles, and skills of adult learning. We started off the course with discovering the differences between how we learn as a child, our pre-adult learning, and how we learn as an adult.
Here we have a handout of pedagogy versus andragogy, which is the child versus adult learner. The child learner is totally dependent upon the teacher for all learning and connecting the dots with concrete experiences of the teacher. There are goals that the students need to meet in order to, say, meet state or federal standards. In contrast, bring their own life experiences to learning. They want to learn, they are self directed. The learner is responsible for all the learning and to evaluate themselves and what they are learning. The pace of the learning is also dependent on the individual learner, and they want to perform a task because they too are goal oriented, but they have a larger goal in mind, and that is self directed.
We filled out the learning style inventory and was able to put that information into the Kolb Kite, which showed us what kind of learning style that we preferred.
As you can see here on my Kolb Kite score, that I am a reflective observation and abstract conceptualization person. That is where my score falls mainly into. That means I am a watching, thinking, observation person, which really describes who I am. I also learned that I am a visual learner, and I have noticed that in myself. I take notes whenever I want to remember something. I used to do this in high school. Whenever the teacher would write notes up on the board, I would just take the notes, and that would help me remember, and I could easily take tests and pass very easily. We also covered more about APA style in the Atomic Learning module. I really didn't think that I would learn a lot from this module, as I've written a few papers and I think I have APA formatting down. However, as I've circled here on this example, I did learn about the DOI, which is the Data Object Identifier. I had never known about this and never even seen it on anything that I had used as a reference until I started going back and looking at some of those previous references that I'd used, and I found it. I was just kind of astonished by that.
We also covered critical thinking and the steps to analyze a whole problem and not make quick decisions. The steps were a little bit difficult for me as I'm just used to thinking on the go and just doing things. However, when I actually broke the steps down, I could see that in my thought processes I was already breaking it down. It was just a lot quicker than actually thinking out what I was doing. We learned that the attributes of a critical thinker were honest, inquisitive, discerning, focused, creative, open-minded, organized, and explicit. As I looked through the definitions of all these words, I found that my personality does relate to a lot of that. I like to be open and honest. I do seek out the answers if I don't know. I'm focused. I like to be creative, and I'm open-minded. Open to other people's suggestions and what they bring to the table. We also discussed group dynamics. There are functional groups such as nursing staff or management teams, informal or interest groups, people who maybe get together for lunch and every day and discuss things, or they have mutual interests in sports teams, etc. And then finally a task group, which is a committee or a task force that's assigned a specific goal to complete. We also went over conflict and how conflict can be a problem. However, it's not always a bad thing. We need to focus on what everybody brings to the table and their ideas that can be different than ours, but still not, maybe not wrong ideas.
But perhaps one of the best things that I think I am taking away from this course is exactly what it says here in this quote, that you are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. I was in a point in my life where I felt that I had gone as far as I could go without doing something else. So I took that leap and was brave enough to reach out there and start a new venture in my life.